Чего говорить?
Что-нибудь говорить.
Who are you, Mr. Jilarevsky?
I'm a specialist in information science, and I work in All Russian Institute for Scientific and Technical Information.
Thank you. Mr. Gilevsky, do you believe that information science is really exists, or it's some epi science?
You know, many people think that it is not science, that it is a complex of sciences. For example, Fritz Machlup, he criticized our concept of information science, but I think that it exists because it has this information science has a field of investigation. Yeah.
What do you think? Are the laws of information the same in era of electronic information and internet, and in era of paper information? Do you think that law of distribution?
Of course. All the laws and regularities in this area are social laws and regularities. For example, the regularity of scattering of scientific publications. In other words, Bradford law is the same for electronic and for paper publications.
Do you think that good search machine is more important than all basic information principles, or
you know, all searching engines are based on achievements of informatics, of information science.
На Познера похож.
and your dog also know information.
Yes.
Some.
It is a very clever dog, and he works with me 13 years. It's a higher educated dog. Max, you are a very educated dog. Yeah. Ну все.
Sophisticated. Mr. Jilarevsky, how did you become interested in information science?
I graduated from Moscow State University in 1953. My degree work was Essential Principles of Lope-de-Vega. 5 years before, Norbert Wiener published his Cybernetics. It was at the time of new ideas. The notion of information became very popular. I worked as a cataloger in All Union State Library for Foreign Literature. My philosophy doctor thesis was on description of foreign books for Soviet libraries. That's why I submitted the paper entitled On Bibliographical Description as Element of Information when I was invited to university conference in 1961. This marked my new scientific career connected with information. Next year, I began to work with Professor Alexander Mikhailov in his chair on scientific information at the Moscow University, and 5 years later in All-Union Institute for Scientific and Technical Information, famous VNIT, where I worked the
With the compassion.
What were the most significant steps in your career?
I considered as the most significant steps in my career the participation in the writing of the books The Fundamental of Scientific Information, The Fundamental of Informatics, and Scientific Communications and Informatics that I published with Chorny and Mikhailov. You know, Arkady Chorny had just returned from American and European training and made acquaintance of many specialists in information science. He was informed about all important achievements of this science. Mikhailov was the real chief of information activities in the country, director of VNIT, and they wanted to write a book. I asked them if they knew how to bake donut-shaped bread roll. I explained them a joke. It is necessary to get a hole from the roll and coat it with pastry. I said that I had a whole ability to write books, and they had pastry, facts about information science. Those 3 books were very popular in our country and even abroad, especially the first 2. They were translated into English, German, Italian, Spanish, Polish, Czech, even Chinese and Japanese. Many new specialists came in this profession from industry and librarianship. They had to learn information science and needed such maneuvers. I was one of those 3 persons who introduced the term informatics, informatika in Russian, as the synonym of English information science. Unfortunately, now, in Russia, often we see misusing of the term informatics as synonym of computer science and not information science.
Mr. Jodorowsky, what in your opinion did you contribute to the field?
It seems to me that I have formulated the main principles and features of the scientific literature system as a foundation of scientific communication. I extended the interpretation of the term document in the sense of Paul Otlet, whom I consider as a real pioneer of information science. I translated into Russian his Traité de Documentation for the book Selected Work of the Pioneer of Informatics. In my own scientific information activity, I tried to associate information science with librarianship and documentation. I defended my Doctor of Science thesis, entitled the Common Trends in Development of Scientific Information and Communication Disciplines.
Mr. Jelarevsky, what do you consider as the most significant achievement of information science?
I think that we wouldn't have internet, searching engines such as Google or Yahoo without achievements of information science. We wouldn't understand without them how the information world is organized. In my opinion, the laws of growth, obsolescence, and scattering of publications are the most significant, especially Bradford's law of scattering. Information retrieval, of course, is the basis of the information science, but these problems have not been resolved till now.
What has been ACE's role in this and in your own work?
I could assist at the annual meetings of American Society for Information Science and Technology twice. First time in 1991 in Washington, invited by Belvoir Griffiths from Drexel University to speak about scientific information activities in Soviet Union. Second time, I was invited by Pamela Richards from Rutgers University at a conference on the history and heritage of science information systems. It was held in Pittsburgh in 1998, immediately prior to the annual meeting of ACES. I spoke on Soviet scientific and technical information system, its development, impact, and dismantling. For me, it was the opportunity to see how much is the Society for Self-Consciousness of American Information Specialists. I appreciate very high the Journal of ACES, for which I wrote an article once.
What do you see as the main challenges and opportunities for information science?
The impact of electronic technologies relaxes our attention to the theory of communication, to the problems of essence and nature of information itself. It is the main challenge for information science today. Yes, we have an opportunity to have a big library in our pocket now, but our understanding of what information is and what it realized don't increase. It would be changed if we wish to go further.
What would you say in order for young people to get excited about a possible career in information science?
First, what I wish to say, it is prestigious to have an information profession in the era of information. Second, that information career is very perspective because it opens many ways. The new information disciplines and professions emerge each year. Third, that it is very interesting to work in an information environment. You need to contact with all branches of human knowledge and with philosophy and religion not in the last turn. I wish to young people, to my students first of all, to choose the career of information science.
Thank you very much.